What's up, bro? Please take a seat. You and we need to have a bit of a chat. Maybe you haven't heard this in a while, or maybe, and I really pray that this isn't the situation, but just maybe you've never been told this in your entire life. Maybe you've never been told the real truth about yourself. And the truth is that you have absolutely no idea. You have no clue what you're capable of. And the fact of the matter is that no matter how you feel about yourself right now, doesn't matter what anybody else has to say about you, you have the power to change the entire world, and you have the potential to do incredible things. Personally, I would argue, and I'm going to argue it throughout this entire video, but I would argue that the reason that you don't know about your own potential is that you've just simply forgotten it. And before you say, oh, Niall's just trying to kiss my ass with this video, he's just trying to get as many likes and views as he can, he's just trying to make us all feel better with this feel-good video, right? Before you jump to any conclusions, just give me a chance to prove my point. Really think back honestly and truthfully about situations or moments in your own personal life where you just believed that you could not get through a situation. Moments where you just did not think that you were capable of doing the things that you did. And this could literally apply to anything, right? Think back to a breakup that absolutely crushed your heart, right? Think back to a project at work or at school that the deadline was right there, bro, and you were right on that deadline, but somehow, thanks to the gods or luck or whatever it was, but somehow you hit that deadline. It was physically impossible, mentally and emotionally impossible for you to make that deadline, but you did it. I bet you've even had parents, teachers, friends of yours, family members tell you over and over again that you have so much untapped potential. If only you would discipline yourself, right? So you can hear your parents and your teachers talk in your head as I say this, but if you were only disciplined enough, if only you worked harder, if only you did the things you said you would do, you would be so much more by now. And even deeper than that, right? We're going real deep now with this whole concept, but even deeper and more complex than that. I'm willing to bet that you've always had this nagging little voice, this little asshole at the back of your head saying to you, you have so much potential. You could do so much with your life and your gifts and your talents. You can do anything. This little voice has told you the same thing that your parents, your teachers, your friends, your colleagues, everybody that ever believed in you once told you. I'm here to tell you that this is not a coincidence, bro. It is not a coincidence. I believe that that is years, centuries, freaking generations of ancestors talking through you. And I'm not even gonna get woo-wah, like wishy-washy, like don't take this all spiritually, but genuinely, bro, hear me out. This is like your ancestry. It's your bloodline inside of you telling you that you have a legacy to uphold. You have a reputation to protect. You have a name to carry on to future generations. Because the fact is that your family, your legacy survived hundreds of thousands of years to ensure that you are alive today. They were successful. They survived so that you can live. But the annoying question that I'm so sure you and so many other people have asked yourself is, why can't I remember this potential? Why do I not believe that I'm capable of anything? Why, for lack of a better term, do I feel useless so often? Let me tell you a rather sad story that will help me illustrate this point and give you the answer as to why you don't feel good enough. This is the sad but true story of Mohini, the white tiger. Mohini was a tiger that was given as a gift, kind of weird gift, but given as a gift to President Roosevelt. But for one excuse or another, because, you know, humans are like dickheads and all, but for some reason, President Roosevelt could not keep Mohini as his pet. And so, as a result, the president gave Mohini away to the local zoo, where she proceeded to live in this little 10 by 10 cage, tiny little thing. It's probably like, I don't know, 5 by 5 meters, 10 by 10 meters, but it's really tiny. And Mohini lives there for pretty much the majority of her life in this little small boxed cage. And eventually, years later, the zoo starts to realize that, you know what, maybe this little 5 by 5 tiny little ass cage isn't all that nice for a tiger to exist in. And so the zoo eventually decides to start expanding its space and eventually provides this large enclosure for Mohini to live in. And so on the day of the grand reveal, right, they invite the entire city to come and witness Mohini's grand entrance, where she gets to roam this entire beautiful land and live happily ever after as a white tiger. But Unfortunately, that's not the way this sad story ends. As they open up the cage and they let Mohini out to explore her whole new world, Mohini takes about 10 steps, finds a little corner in the exhibit, sits down, and never moves from that spot ever again. And according to history, Mohini takes 10 steps forward, 10 steps right, 10 steps back, and 10 steps left, and never ever budges or moves out of that comfort zone that she had become so accustomed to inside of her tiny little cage. This story is heartbreaking, to say the least. It's absolutely tragic. But I really believe that there are two incredibly important lessons that we can all take away from this story that will help us remember our own potential. Just like Mohini, our own potential is limited by two things, and two things only. The first thing is our environment, and the second thing is our self-image, or the way that we see ourselves. In terms of our environment, we all have this weird tendency to get stuck, right? We get stuck in relationships, we get stuck in jobs, in homes, in situations that do not serve us or do not promote our growth. And the sad truth is that we do not leave these situations. We don't leave these environments simply because things are just not bad enough, right? We are not uncomfortable enough to finally go out there and make a change. Even though we all know deep down inside that things could be so much better. Life could be so much more. The solution? You got to drop the bomb. You essentially have to burn the boats that are keeping you comfortable and that are allowing you to escape a situation when things are not suiting you. For those of you who have never heard the burn the boats reference, right? It's essentially a reference back to when the pirates would invade a land or invade a country, and then what they would do is they'd literally burn their boats, bro. They'd burn the boats so that they didn't have the opportunity or the chance to flee in cowardice. They knew deep down that it's either they conquer the land and they win this battle, or else they die. And so burning the boats kind of cemented in their mind that this is a do or die situation, and you need to do the same. And this means that you have to make the breakup. It's hard. I know it's freaking hard to say this, but if you know that you're in a bad situation, in a bad relationship, you need to break up. You need to be man enough or woman enough to say, you know what, this situation is no longer serving me. I need to be single. I need to work on myself. If you're afraid of what other people think of you, if your confidence needs a boost, you need to put yourself out there. You need to go to parties that make you uncomfortable, and you need to stop yourself from leaving that situation in order for you to grow. If you know deep down that you have outgrown the current environment that you exist in, if you know deep down that you need to spread your wings and fly, move overseas, go and visit that country or live in that country that you've always wanted to live in, but you're afraid of making new friends, you're afraid of starting to live by yourself, you need to be brave, checkmate yourself into success, book the ticket, buy the apartment, and move, so that you can finally live the life you know you were destined to live. So now that we've figured out the environmental problems that stop us from growing, we need to have a chat about possibly the more important aspect of this video, and that is the idea of your self-image, the way that you see yourself. Just like Mohini the tiger, we all go through unfortunate situations in life, whether that's from early childhood, even early adulthood. We all go through these moments or circumstances that make us not feel like we are good enough. Unfortunately for us, we all meet assholes throughout our entire lives. Maybe this asshole was your teacher or a friend of yours, or maybe a past partner, but we all meet people that told us things about ourselves that may not necessarily be true, but nonetheless did damage to our own self-image. Maybe somebody out there once told you that you are not smart enough, that you're too dumb to be that certain kind of person. Maybe somebody told you that you are not handsome or beautiful enough to find yourself an attractive partner to marry or to date. But I need you to take my word on this, and I need you to remember for yourself today that these words, these opinions are not real. They are not fact. They are somebody else's stupid opinion that may be influenced by a variety of things. It could be jealousy. It could be that they are going through their own emotional pain. The fact of the matter is you don't know. But what I need you to know today for a fact is that their words and opinions of you, they aren't real, bro. They are not real. Because the simple truth is that the only opinion that matters of you is the opinion that you have of yourself. Just like Mohini, you have simply forgotten the fact that you are a tiger. You're a tiger, bro. You are not a house cat. But when a tiger is forced to live in a pet's cage, when a tiger is told for its entire life that it is nothing more than a simple domestic cat, what else is it going to believe, bro? But here's the best part of the message today. Luckily for you, you are not a tiger. You are not some animal that is forced to believe whatever garbage it has been fed, right? You are a human being. You have what we call a prefrontal cortex, which is essentially the part of the brain that is responsible for rational and logical thinking and decision making. Which means, my friend, that you have the decision. You can make the choice, the conscious choice, to not believe the lies that have been fed to you your entire life. You do not have to be defined by the past mistakes. You do not have to be defined by the person, the man or the woman that you were yesterday, because that's not you anymore. And so today, I challenge you to ask yourself honestly, what environments are keeping me stuck and what environments are stagnating my growth? And what is the opinion that I hold of myself? What is my self-image? And how can I start to change both the environment that I'm in, as well as the opinion and the beliefs that I hold about myself and my capabilities? It is your responsibility and your responsibility alone for you to take your gift, because we've all got one. I know maybe you don't believe it, but you have an inherent talent, an inherent gift. You don't just have a responsibility to yourself. You have a responsibility to everybody else around you, your family, your friends, the people that look up to you. You have a responsibility to make them proud and to use your God-given ability to make this world a little bit better than you found it. Because as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man once said, with great power comes great responsibility.